Walking through the ruins of the vows I could not keep. Every stone beneath my footsteps held the memory of defeat. I had nothing left for offering, only ashes in my hands, only dust from broken seasons, only prayers I couldn't stand. But you met me in the wasteland where I thought all hope was lost, and the ground I called abandoned became holy at the cross. Altars rose from dust, worship rose again. What I thought was only ruin turned into a place you entered, and grace rebuilt the broken. Love restored my trust when my heart had nothing left. Altars rose from dust. I tried to hide my fragments, tried to bury all my shame, like the dirt around my spirit would forever know my name. But you touched the scattered pieces, and the dry ground learned to sing. For the God who calls the barren still can make an offering. You were never scared of rubble, you were never late to move, and the place I feared was empty became proof of holy truth. Altars rose from dust, worship rose again. What I thought was only ruin turned into a place you entered, and grace rebuilt the broken. Love restored my trust when my heart had nothing left. Altars rose from dust. Raise the stones inside my spirit, build a fire from what remains, turn the dust of all my sorrow into songs that bless your name. If the valley still feels barren, if the night still feels too long, you can make a holy altar from the place that once was wrong. Altars rose from dust, worship rose again. What I thought was only a ruin turned into a place you entered, and grace rebuilt the broken. Love restored my trust when my heart had nothing left. Altars rose from dust. Altars rose from dust. Now the ground anew my weeping knows the sound of sacred trust. For the place where I fell broken, saw altars rise from dust.
Yeah.
I carried old affliction like a chain around my soul, till the blessing in your hands touched the hunger in my bones. Then you broke the bread before me and the room began to change. For the thing that fed my spirit also broke my fear and shame. Bread broke the curse, love fed my need. What had kept me bound in darkness lost its power when you spoke peace. Hope was on the table, mercy filled the thirst when I reached for holy provision. Bread broke the curse. I thought I needed power, needed signs across the sky, but you met me in the simple, in the daily small supply. Every piece became a promise, every crumb became a flame, and the hunger I was carrying could not leave me still the same. Not because the world was kinder, not because the road was smooth, but because your hand was blessing what you gave me to pass through. Bread broke the curse, love fed my need. What had kept me bound in darkness lost its power when you spoke peace. Hope was on the table, mercy filled the thirst when I reached for holy provision. Bread broke the curse. Break the famine in my spirit, break the lie that says not yet. Break the old familiar sorrow, break the chains I still regret. Let the table be my witness, let the simple thing declare that the God who feeds the hungry still is meeting people Bread broke the curse, love fed my need. What had kept me bound in darkness lost its power when you spoke peace. Hope was on the table, mercy filled the thirst when I reached for holy provision. Bread broke the curse. Bread broke the curse. Now I bless the broken pieces, now I praise the gift you gave. For the bread I thought was small became the thing that made me brave. I was staring back at towers where my old desires slept. Every street was full of echoes, every gate remembered steps. I call that place my shelter, though it chained me with its flame. But your voice said, keep on walking, do not turn back toward the same. Then the sky behind me thundered, and the smoke rose from the street. What had almost been my prison burned behind and not in me. Cities burn without me, all walls lost their the city could not touch me in your hand. Every idol lost its shadow, every chain gave up its sound. For the place that tried to own me was not where my life was found. Not because my heart was fearless, not because I understood, but because your warning saved me and your promise still was good. Cities burn without me, the walls lost their claim. What I thought I had to carry turned to ashes in the flame. I was led by mercy, I was called to leave. When the past collapsed behind me, cities burn without me. Do not let me turn to stone. Do not let me crave the chase. Do not let the smoke behind me call my heart back into shame. Lead me toward the mountain, lead me toward the dawn. Let the city lose its power as your hand keeps moving on. Cities burn without me, the walls lost their claim. What I thought I had to carry turned to ashes in the flame. I was led by mercy, I was called to leave. When the past collapsed behind me, cities burn without me. Now I walk beyond the fire, now I breathe beyond the grief. For the life that tried to trap me, burned behind and not in me. I had built my little kingdom with my hands around the throne. Every victory I carried made my heart feel more alone. I had dressed my pride in glory, I had called my will a crown, till I saw a greater wonder and my gold came falling down. In the light of holy meekness, all my boasting could not stand. Every honor found its ending when crowns fell before the Lamb. Crowns fell before the Lamb. Pride fell from my hands. What I thought would make me worthy bowed before the great I am. Glory striving. Take the throne I tried to keep. Take the name I built for glory. Lay it all beneath your feet. You alone are worth the anthem. You alone deserve the flame. Let my life become surrender to the honor of your name. Crowns fell before the Lamb. Pride fell from my hands. What I thought would make me worthy bowed before the great I am. Glory found its center. Worship learned to stand. All my treasures lost their power when crowns fell before the Lamb. Now I rise without my kingdom. Now I live with open hands. For my heart found true freedom when crowns fell before the I was kneeling in the grayness where the fire left its trace. Every dream was quiet powder. Every hope had lost its place. I had nothing but the ending. Nothing left to call my own. Only smoke above the silence. Only dust around the storm. Then a wind moved through the ashes and the ground began to shine. What I thought was only morning lifted wings into the sky. Doves rose from ashes. Peace rose from pain. What the fire left behind me did not die there in the flame. Hope took flight above me, wide against the gray. When your spirit touched the ruins, doves rose from ashes. I thought the loss would mark me as a soul beyond repair, but your hand was in the silence, breathing promise through the air. Every feather was a witness. Every wing became a song. That the place where grief had buried me was not where I belong. Not because the fire was gentle, not because I never cried, but because your life was stronger than the death I felt inside. Doves rose from ashes. is full of witness. Now the dust has learned to praise. For the place I thought was over saw doves rise from the ashes. Every leaf I thought was promised had been swallowed by the air. I had called the season wasted, called the waiting my defeat, but your timing held a mercy that my fear could never see. Then the dry limbs started trembling and the roots remembered grace. What I thought had missed its moment began blooming out of place. Fig trees bloom late, hope broke through the bark. Fruit came in the silence after years inside the dark. Love was not delayed, promise kept its weight. When I thought the field was barren, fig trees bloom late. I had watched the others harvest, watched their branches bend with gold, while my hands were full of questions and my prayers were growing old. But you were working under stillness where no human eye could know, teaching roots beneath the surface how to drink and how to grow. Not because the sky was kinder, not because the wait was brief, but because your word was living even under unbelief. Fig trees bloom late, hope broke through the bark. Fruit came in the silence after years inside the dark. Love was not delayed, promise kept its weight. When I thought the field was barren, fig trees bloom late. Let the late things praise you, let the dry things sing, let the branch I call forgotten bear the fragrance of the King. If the season looks unfinished, if the answer comes slow, still the hand that made the orchard knows the hour fruit should grow.
Trees bloom late, late. Hope broke through the bark.
Fruit came in the silence after years inside the dark. Love was not delayed, promise kept its weight. When I thought the field was barren, fig trees bloomed late. Now I bless the patient garden, now I trust the hidden date. For the promise was not absent, living small beside the water, calling routine all my plans. I had known the weight of labor, known the rhythm of the tide, but a voice came through the morning and awakened life inside. You did not call the perfect, you did not seek the proud. You called me from the shoreline, and my whole life hit the ground. Fishermen left the shore, nets fell to the sand, when the voice of holy purpose called ordinary hands. The sea could not contain me, the past could claim no more. When the king said, "Come and follow," fishermen left the I had thought my world was water, boats and storms and empty nights, but you saw a deeper harvest waiting far beyond my sight. Every net became surrender, every wave became farewell. For the road that started simple led me where your glory dwelt. Not because I understood it, not because I knew the way, but because your call was stronger than the life I knew yesterday. Fishermen left the shore, nets fell to the sand, when the voice of holy purpose called ordinary hands. The sea could not contain me, the past could claim no more. When the king said, "Come and follow," fishermen left the shore. Leave the boat, leave the fear, leave the comfort held too near. Step beyond the known and safe, walk the road that starts with faith. If you call me from the water, if you ask me for my all, then the shore cannot define me when I hear my Savior call. Fishermen left the shore, nets fell to the sand, when the voice of holy purpose called ordinary hands. The sea could not contain me, the past could claim no more. When the king said, "Come and follow," fishermen left the Now I walk beyond the harbor, now I trust the open door. For the life I thought would keep me ended when I left the disappeared before my eyes. I had feared the rising waters, fear the storm would leave its mark, but the flood that shook the valley only carried up the ark. watched the mountains fade from view, but the promise stayed unbroken in the shelter built by you. Every drop became a witness, every wave became a sign that the storm was not my master. When your mercy held my life, not because the rain was gentle, not because the night was brief, but because your word was stronger than the waters under me. Flood waters carried the ark, storms lifted what you saved. When the world was full of thunder, you were faithful through the waves. Judgment roared around me, but covenant left its mark. What I feared would drag me under. Flood waters carried the ark. Seal me in your promise, hold me through the rain. Teach my heart to trust you when the ground is washed away. Let the dove return with morning, let the olive branch appear. Let the storm become the story of the God who kept me near. Flood waters carried the ark, storms lifted what you saved. When the world was full of thunder, you were faithful through the waves. Judgment roared around me, but covenant left its mark. What I feared would drag me under. Flood waters carry the ark. Carry the ark. Now I stand beneath the rainbow. Now I breathe beyond the dark. For the flood that looked like ending was the road that held the ark. My sorrow through the garden before dawn. Every hope I used to carry felt defeated, sealed and gone. Stone and silence stood before me like the ending of the song. But the dark had missed the moment when the grave began to fall. Then the sunrise touched the doorway, and the fear I held was broken. For the night had lost its power. Morning found the tomb open. Morning found the tomb open. Death had lost its claim If the night could not remain, then my soul can rise in worship and be born to hope again. Morning found the tomb open, death had lost its claim. What the darkness called forever could not hold the holy name. Hope rose with the sunlight, grace had already spoken. Life walked out in glory, morning found the tomb open. Now I do not fear the garden, now I do not fear the stone. For the place I thought was ending was where resurrection shone. Staring at the mountain with my courage wearing thin. Every peak became a sentence, every shadow whispered end. I had measured all my weakness against the height I could not climb, till the wall before my spirit looked too strong for faith to find. Then your presence filled the valley and the stone began to crack. What I thought would stand forever started bending. Mountains melted like wax, fear fell from its throne. What it towered high above me could not stand when you were known. Glory moved before me, darkness lost its tracks. When the Lord stepped through my valley, mountains melted like wax. Mountains melted like wax. I had thought I needed power, needed strength to force my way, but your nearness was the answer that made giants lose their name. Every ridge began to tremble, every summit bowed in light, for creation knows its maker, and no stone can win that fight. Not by anger, not by striving, not by pride inside my hands, but by trusting you were greater than the mountains in the land. Mountains melted like wax, fear fell from its throne. What it towered high above me could not stand when you were known. Glory moved before me, darkness lost its tracks. When the Lord stepped through my valley, mountains melted like wax. Melt the pride that stands against you, melt the fear that blocks my way, melt the lies that rise like mountains when my heart forgets to pray. Let the valley see your glory, let the high place lose its crown. Nothing built against your promise can remain when you come down. Mountains melted like wax, fear fell from its throne. What it towered high above me could not stand when you were known. Glory moved before me, darkness lost its tracks. When the Lord stepped through my valley, mountains melted like wax. Now I walk through open places, now I praise beyond the stone. For the mountain that once stopped me melted when your presence shone. where the light refused to stay. Every wall returned my silence, every hour looked the same. I had songs I could remember, but my mouth had lost its flame. Till the darkness heard me whisper, and the depths replied your name. Then the cave became a choir, and the hollow learned to ring. For the God who meets the lonely teaches buried hearts to sing. Psalms echoed under stone, hope echoed back to me. What I thought was just a prison turned into a sanctuary. Night could not erase it, fear could not dethrone. When my soul cried out to heaven, psalms echoed under stone. I thought praise needed sunlight, needed freedom, needed peace, but your presence found me hidden in the lowest of these places. Every crack became a chamber, every breath became a tone, and the words I thought were dying came alive against the stone. Not because the cave was gentle, not because the path was clear, but because your hand was with me and your voice was drawing near. Psalms echoed under stone, hope echoed back to me. What I thought was just a prison turned into a sanctuary. Night could not erase it, fear could not dethrone. When my soul cried out to heaven, psalms echoed under stone. Let the faces hear it, let the dark rooms know. Even in the hidden valley, living songs can grow. If the mountain closes round me, still my heart is not alone. For the Lord of all creation hears my songs beneath the stone. Psalms echoed under stone, hope echoed back to me. What I thought was just a prison turned into a sanctuary. Night could not erase it, fear could not dethrone. When my soul cried out to heaven, psalms echoed under stone. Now the cave that knew my sorrow knows a holy undertone. For the silence could not hold me when psalms echoed under stone. Now the cave that knew my sorrow knows a holy undertone. For the silence could not hold me when psalms echoed under stone. I had walked away in silence, with denial on my tongue. Every promise I had shouted fell apart before the sun. I had worn my hands by fire, while my courage turned to dust. And the sound that broke the morning told the truth about my trust. But your eyes were not rejection, and your mercy did not return. Morning found my shame, but the Savior saw my sorrow and still called me by my name. Failure was not final. Love refused to turn. When my tears met holy mercy, roosters crowed my return. Now I do not fear the morning. Now I bless the lesson learned. For the sound that marked my failure became the sound of my return. I was wrapped inside my morning, wearing sorrow like a name. Every step was slow and heavy. Every song had lost its flame. I had sat among the ashes, counting all that grief had cost, till my heart forgot the rhythm of the joy I thought was lost. Then your hand reached through the silence, not to shame the tears I cried, but to lift my head from weeping and call life back from inside. Sackcloth turned to dancing, ashes turned to praise. What had covered me in sorrow fell beneath the sound of grace. Joy came like a river, hope rose up advancing. When your mercy found my mourning, sackcloth turned to dancing. I had thought the night would keep me, thought the tears would never end, but your love came like the morning, like a faithful holy friend. Every wound I tried to bury met the kindness of your light, and the place where grief had held me started moving back to life. Whoa, you gladness. Now my steps remember you. For the grief that tried to hold me turned to dancing in your truth. Beneath my tired feet, counting sheep and counting failures, counting dreams I could not reach. Then the fire burned before me, but the branches stayed alive, and the silence of the wilderness became a place of holy light. When the flame called out my name, fear and wonder gathered round, and the road I thought was common became holy ground. Sandals touched holy ground. Fire spoke my name. What I called a wasted season was the place where purpose came. Dust became an altar. Fear lost what it found when the voice of God was calling. Sandals touched holy ground. Sandals touched holy ground. I had thought my years were finished, thought the desert was my end, but your calling found me hidden where my courage could not stand. Every excuse I tried to offer met the patience of your will, and the fire it stood before me told my trembling heart be still. Not because my hands were mighty, not because my past was clean, but because your name is greater than the weakness inside me. Sandals touched holy ground. Fire spoke my name. What I called a wasted season was the place where purpose came. Dust became an altar. Fear lost what it found when the voice of God was calling. Sandals touched holy ground. Take the shoes of pride away. Take the fear I learned to wear. Let me stand with open spirit in the fire of holy prayer. If you call me from the desert, if you send me through the night, I will go beneath your promise. I will walk within your light. Sandals touched holy ground. Fire spoke my name. What I called a wasted season was the place where purpose came. Dust became an altar. Fear lost what it found when the voice of God was calling. Sandals touched holy ground. Now I know no road is empty when your voice is in the sound. For the wilderness became my altar when sandals touch holy ground. Sandals touch holy ground. fog erased the road. Every path became a question. Every valley felt unknown. I had wandered from the pasture, chased a voice that was not true, till the cold began to teach me what a lost heart goes through. Then a sound moved through the distance, soft enough to heal my shame, and my soul knew who was calling when the shepherd spoke my name. Sheep heard my name, love crossed the field. When I could not find the doorway, mercy found me still. I was not abandoned, I was not the same. Home began to call me when sheep heard my I had thought my wandering ended, all the kindness I had known, like the flock would move without me, like the gate would stay closed. But the shepherd left the hillside, came through bramble, stone, and rain, and the places where I hid myself, he entered without blame. Not because I found the pathway, not because my feet were wise, but because his voice is faithful and his mercy recognized. She heard my name, love crossed the field. When I could not find the doorway, mercy found me still. I was not abandoned, I was not the same. Home began to call me when sheep heard my name. Wandering, wandering fear. Now I rest beside thoughts you never hear. Lead me past the waters, carry what is lame. Let my heart remember I am known when you call my name. Sheep heard my name, love crossed the field. When I could not find the doorway, mercy found me still. I was not abandoned, I was not the same. Home began to call me when sheep heard my name. Now I rest beside the shepherd. Now I know the voice that came. For the valley lost its power when the sheep heard my name. Sheep heard my name. I brought coins into the workshop, thinking worth could buy my name. every piece of shining silver still felt hollow, cold, and vain. I had weighed myself in treasure, measured life by what I owned, but the table of my riches could not heal a heart of stone. Then I saw the potter working, hands in clay and eyes of fire, and the silver I was holding could not purchase his desire. Silver failed the potter, gold could not restore what my soul was truly needing was not something I could afford. Hands of holy mercy shaped me from the water when my wealth could never save me. Silver failed the potter. I had tried to earn the shaping, tried to pay for being whole, but his hands were not for selling. They were reaching for my soul. Every coin fell down in silence. Every bargain lost its breath. For the gift of living mercy was not bought by human strength. Not by silver, not by status, not by pride I tried to bring, but by grace that shapes the lowly into vessels for the King. Silver failed the potter, gold could not restore what my soul was truly needing was not something I could afford. Hands of holy mercy shaped me from the water when my wealth could never save me. Silver failed the potter. Take the coins I used for hiding, take the worth I tried to prove, break the lie that I can buy the love that only comes from you. Make me clay inside your fingers, make me humble, make me true. I would rather be your vessel than own everything without you. Silver failed the potter, gold could not restore what my soul was truly needing was not something I could afford. Hands of holy mercy shaped me from the water when my wealth could never save me. Silver failed the potter. Now I leave my silver falling. Now I rise as something new. For the hands that shape my weakness make me worthy by the truth. I was quiet in the valley, with my praise locked in my chest. Every fear became a mountain, every breath became a test. I had held my song in silence, I had buried Let the dust become a flame. Let the road beneath my footsteps speak the honor of your name. But don't let stone replace me. Don't let silence be my throne. If creation sings your glory, I will worship with my own. Songs cried out for me. Praise rose from the ground. When my heart was lost in silence, worship still was found. Mountains heard his glory. Valleys bent the knee. When my soul forgot its anthem, stones cried out for me. Stones cried out for me. Now my voice has found its courage. Now my heart has found its song. For the stones that cried in silence taught my soul to praise alone. I was standing at the distance with my shame against the door, feeling far from holy places, like I could not enter anymore. Every failure stood before me. Every fear became a wall, and the silence of my spirit said I was too lost to call. Then the ground began to tremble, and the barrier could not hide. For the love that crossed forever made the temple veil tear wide. Temple veil tore wide. Mercy on not by pride and not by might, but by love that tore the curtain and brought my heart inside. Questions with a jar and hidden shame, drawing water in the silence where no one would know my name. I had learned to keep my distance, learned to hide beneath the sun, but the place I thought was empty held a voice I could not run. Before I found the answer, before I shaped the thirst, love was waiting in the silence, and the well spoke first. The well spoke first. Living water rose where my heart was dry and wounded. Mercy overflowed. Truth looked through my hiding. Grace broke through my worst. Before I knew I needed healing, the well spoke first. I had carried broken stories like a weight beneath my skin. Every road behind me whispered that I could not start again. But your kindness met me thirsty, not with stones and not with blame. In the water you were giving was the life I could not claim. You saw past my defenses, past the dust and past the hurt, and before I could confess it, the well spoke first. The well spoke first. Living water rose where my heart was dry and wounded. Mercy overflowed. Truth looked through my hiding. Grace broke through my worst. Before I knew I needed healing, the well spoke first. Speaking to the dry place, speaking to the shame, speaking till the hidden heart remembers it has a name. Let the jar fall empty, let the old thirst stand. When living water finds me, I can rise and breathe again. The well spoke first. Living water rose when my heart was dry and wounded. Mercy overflowed. Truth looked through my hiding. Grace broke through my worst. Before I knew I needed healing, the well spoke first. Now I leave my jar behind me. Now I run with news to tell. For the Savior found my desert, waiting by the well. I was caught beneath the thunder, with the cold against my skin. Every shadow looked like judgment, every wind accused my sin. I had nowhere left to run to.